How can you overcome psychological trauma in a way where you don't have to talk through it with your psychologist? Now, let me be very clear. There is a lot of value in talk therapy, but some of us, we like to go through a more physiological process to work through some issues of our past. And I would say, as always, the truth is somewhere in the middle, so maybe try to work with both aspects, talk therapy and what I'm about to show you. I have to say, I am not a medical professional, I'm also not licensed, so take this as education only, but definitely try it, it is very safe. What I'm about to show you is something that I use with clients that want to work through some emotional trauma. And what we're going to do is we're going to touch different parts of our body that are typically in front of nerve endings that create a certain response in our body. So don't try to understand. If you want to really understand how this works, I'm going to put a link in the description that takes you to a live webinar that I host with my partner in business and life, Antrea, where we will go deeper into these aspects. But for now, I just want you to know that if you have something that happened in your past of emotional nature that you want to overcome because you believe it could be at the root of lots of physical ailments or mental distress that you're experiencing, this video is for you. So I'm going to show you first. I'm going to show you a movement. It's very easy actually. You're going to take two fingers and you're going to start tapping above your eye. Doesn't matter what side of the eye, because we're going to, what side of the head, because we are going to do both eyes. Okay, so you just tap. That is the first movement. And then the second one, I'm going to move away a little bit so that my belly becomes visible. So like so. I am placing one hand on my navel and I'm rubbing laterally from side to side. The reason why this is important is because we have energy centers in our body. As you probably know, they're also often referred to as chakras, but we're going to talk about energy centers. Anything that is here in our head is responsible for thinking. And as you probably know, in our Western capitalist-driven lives, we think too much. We work too much with our heads. Now, in our belly, in our stomach, we carry our emotions, but also our willpower, which is why it is very interesting for the nervous system to get stimuli in both places. Okay? Now, we're going to wrap everything up with tapping our eyes very, very gently, doing like so. So in essence, you have three movements that you are going to use here very soon. We're going to do it together. Number one is we have our tapping above the eye on the forehead. That's number one. Number two is we have our rubbing on the belly. That's number two. And then number three is we're going to tap our eyes very gently. Okay? So we're going to do the tapping and the rubbing on the belly simultaneously together for about 5 to 10 seconds. And then we're going to wrap everything up with gently tapping our eyes like so. This is very gentle. Now that you have the movements down, I want you to actually know what you need to do in your mind. So if there is a memory or something you have experienced in your past that is just very difficult for you, I want you to think about that. But here is the key. You don't have to relive the negative experience in detail. It is enough to just think about a still image or think about the location or the person or the smell or the sound. You don't want to go and relive the experience. If something happened in a room, it is enough to think about the room, okay? So don't go and re-traumatize, relive the trauma. That is not necessary. So let's say, for example, I had an experience, which is actually the case for me, where each time I went to the bus station, there was a bully in my childhood that tormented me at that bus station. And let's assume that this experience has created a lot of trauma that has rippled throughout my entire life, causing me all kinds of ailments. This, by the way, is something that happens quite frequently, and you would be surprised how these things that happened to us in the past have a ripple effect throughout our entire lives. By the way, if you want to understand more about how this works and why this works, and also how we can reset these negative traumas, you know what to do. There's a link in the video. Go and sign up for the next webinar, and I can tell you more live on Zoom. Okay, but back to my example. So I'm going to step a little bit back so you can see my belly again. There we go, hand on belly. So what I want you to do now is, in my case, the bus station, the bus stop is the area of where all of this happened. I also remember the bully's face. So I'm going to start having a mental picture of that in my mind. And why I have that, I start tapping above my eye and rubbing my navel. That's all I need to do. Now, during these 5 to 10 seconds, I have the bus station and the bully in my mind's eye, and I'm tapping gently my 2 eyes to wrap everything up. Okay? Now I'm going to do also the other side, tapping on the other side, rubbing my belly. I can close my eyes, I don't have to. If I can just think about the bus station and the bully, that's enough. And now I gently tap my eyes like so. Okay, now I want you to try this. I know that it's really hard to believe that this does anything, but you have nothing to lose. Just give it a try, and now ask yourself, if you now close your eyes and you calm down a little bit, and you think about the very same thing, do you feel less upset about it? We're looking for a very gentle shift, a small shift. If the answer is yes, that is a huge win. Congratulations, because you have just proven to yourself that you can use neurological approaches to make a very tangible shift within your life. You didn't have to talk through it for hours, and you didn't have to take any strong medication. Again, my name is Shanka Poncelet. If you want to know more, please go to the link in the description, register for the webinar, and I'll see you there.